Our story begins centuries ago with Emperor Akbar and his wife Miriam az-Zamani. He and his wife wish desperately for a son. The day that their child is born, a maid brings the good news of a male heir to the emperor. In turn for her good tidings, he promises to grant her any wish she could ever think of. As the years go by, their young son Prince Salim is much loved, but becomes a rude and spoiled child. His parents decide that he needs some discipline and proper training, so he's shipped off to the army, and 14 years later, he returns home to the city of Lahore. A huge celebration is held in his honor, and one of the beautiful dancing girls catches his eye. She's a graceful dancer and exotic beauty. Her real name may have been Nadira or Sharf Anisa. It's the emperor who gives her the nickname we all know her by, Anarkali, which means pomegranate blossom. She was named that for her blushing pink complexion. It would seem that Salim's father also liked this woman. The problem is that Anarkali is not of noble birth, which society looked down on such mixed status relationships. Anarkali tried to avoid the prince to avoid trouble, but Salim loved her just too much, and soon she couldn't resist loving him back. Well, such a fiery relationship couldn't be concealed forever, so Salim decides to marry Anarkali. That doesn't go very well. The emperor forbade their union and ultimately leads to Anarkali's imprisonment. Soon Salim helps her escape and hide on the outskirts of town. Salim is furious with his father by now. He raises an army against him, enlisting all those who were loyal to him during his 14 years in the service. Salim then leads the attack against the city, but his rebellion is crushed by his father's much bigger army. The emperor then gives his son two choices: either give up Anarkali and see her punished, or face the death penalty. He just couldn't turn her in. He would rather die than watch the woman he loves suffer. He chooses death. So upon hearing this verdict, Anarkali comes out of hiding and approaches the emperor bravely. She wants to switch places with Salim to save his life. He agrees and also grants her a final wish, that she be able to spend one final night with Salim undisturbed. They're given just one night to create memories of a lifetime. Completely unaware of the deal that she had made with his father, Salim was happy to spend the night with her. Sometime in the night, she slips a sleeping potion into his drink so that he'd be sound asleep and not protest her sentence. When the morning came, she cries as she says goodbye to her sleeping prince as the guards lead her away. She's taken to a remote area where a large ditch was dug out of the ground. She's strapped to a wooden board and lowered into it by the guards. The ditch was then covered, trapping her inside. Other versions say that she's placed inside of a building and the exits are sealed shut, while Salim is forced to watch helplessly. A spark of hope does exist in some versions, that the building was constructed above a secret tunnel and she was able to escape, never to be seen again. Another says Anarkali's mother, that maid from years earlier, asked the emperor to spare her daughter's life, using up her one wish. Perhaps the most interesting theory is that after Anarkali escapes, she returns some years later under the alias Nurjahan. Nurjahan, being a woman so treasured and bestowed with power from Prince Salim, who later becomes emperor, that some theorize it has to be her. Salim married Nurjahan in 1611, which would have been in the middle of his current construction of Anarkali's tomb. He wouldn't have needed to finish that tomb had she come back from the dead. Plus, Nurjahan would later construct her own tomb above her husband's, so Anarkali couldn't be Nurjahan for those reasons alone, plus Nurjahan's life before meeting Salim was well documented. The real woman who was Anarkali isn't easily found. It's suggested that she was one of the emperor's favorite royal concubines and mother to Salim's half-brother, Prince Daniel. A good reason for the emperor's anger towards them if that was true. But ultimately, the dates just don't line up. Supposedly Anarkali was executed in 1599. When Salim assumed the throne 6 years later, he ordered the construction of the tomb, which was then finished in 1615. We know Prince Daniel's mother died in 1596, so the dates don't match. So how did this whole story come about? Let's take a look. British travelers William Finch and Edward Terry are the earliest known Western writers of this romance. William Finch arrived in the city of Lahore February 1611. He was there to sell indigo on behalf of the East India Trading Company, which by that time was only about 12 years after the supposed death of Anarkali and near the completion of her mausoleum. Edward Terry would arrive some years later, speak to the locals, and add more to William's story. This seems to have sparked the interest in the two lovers, and from here their story took on a whole life of its own, inspiring plays, movies, books, and artwork created in honor of Anarkali and Salim. Abdul Halim Sharar was a historian of Lucknow city who wrote at the beginning of his book, quote, "The story of Anarkali and Prince Salim was written by Allama Abdul Halim Shar to explain how the harem would have been in those days." Quote. In 1922, playwright Saeed Imtiaz Taj wrote the historical drama Anarkali, but specified it was only a work of fiction. By 1928, Saeed's play is turned into a silent movie titled Anarkali Loves of a Mughal Prince. So besides all of that, there's no mention whatsoever of Anarkali in Salim's own autobiography, which is unusual since he's pretty much candid about everything else. So had she been real and all these events actually took place, he definitely would have mentioned her. Even his friend Abdul Fazil fails to mention her in his work Akbar Nama. Overall, Salim had several favorite wives, with elements of Anarkali that could be found in each of them. Their personality, their beauty, their relationship with him, all combined to create one woman, one fantasy woman. Salim's life and many wives helped fuel local gossip surrounding that old mausoleum, which we'll talk about now. The mausoleum, thought to be Anarkali's, is built where a pomegranate orchard used to be, hence the name and the reference. It's also where the modern-day Anarkali Bazaar is in Lahore. Salim also did revolt against his father, but in reality it was for much different reasons, such as a grab for power. Combining all of these things created a conspiracy of a secret love affair, an epic battle, and the building of this mausoleum. Inside the mausoleum, in Lahore, is a sarcophagus with carvings in it. Along with the 99 names of Allah and the dates 1599 and 1615 AD, they're engraved in Persian reads, "Ah, could I behold the face of my love once more, I would give thanks to my God until the day of resurrection." Below that is also another inscription. In the native Urdu language, it translates to Magnificent Salim Akbar, or more poetically, the profoundly enamored Salim, son of Akbar. Clearly, given the beauty of this mausoleum and the writings, this woman was dearly missed and much beloved. So the building itself has been used for various things throughout the years, such as a home residence, a church, and is now a Punjab Records office. In reality, the tomb is now considered the resting place of Sahab-e-Jamal, one of Salim's favorite wives of Turkish descent. She was also the mother of Salim's second son, Prince Parvez, who died in Lahore in 1599, matching the date of Anarkali. She must have been a very favorite wife and much loved when she passed for him to create this beautiful mausoleum for her. So it seems Anarkali herself is just a myth, and that her supposed mausoleum is, in reality, the resting place of one of Salim's real wives. But regardless of all that, she will forever be Prince Salim's long-lost love and hold a special place in the heart of all hopeless romantics. So what do you think about Anarkali and Salim's story? Do you think she might have existed and there's some cover-up, or maybe we just haven't found enough evidence of her? Or, with the evidence provided, it proves otherwise? Let me know in the comments section below what you think, and also what stories you would like to hear next. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this content and would like to see more in the future. Also hit the notification bell to be alerted when the next video is posted. Until next time guys, take care, bye!